Hey guys, I just wanted to explain some things to you about true love, the divine masculine, divine feminine type of dynamic in karmics, I guess. Um, in true love, what happens is, well, I guess it starts with the feminines going through a maturing process. Uh, Feminines go from in what do you call it? Like an immature version of themselves. Obviously, we all grow and we all mature. So the immature version of the divine feminine being the one who is ready and willing and wanting love. Basically, in any true love dynamic, there's the one who runs away from love at first. It's not forever, just in the initial stages. It's like, okay, so here's how it goes. There are two people who meet. It doesn't matter the gender. There's going to be somebody who is like leaning into the, like, first, when they first meet, it's like extraordinary and they're just so excited about each other and they're just lit up like, oh my gosh, this is the most incredible connection I've ever made. Like, it feels so genuine and so authentic, and so like it's like you feel like little kids, like you're so excited. It's just like, let's go play. And the feminine is more ready at that moment when she meets the masculine, because usually, not always, but usually because the feminines just mature faster. That's it. And they want to develop their intuition and consciousness and all that kind of stuff. They work on themselves. It's part of our culture, women work on themselves. Having said that, though, there are some masculine females. So, which would mean they're running away from love because they haven't done the proper healing, is basically what a masculine is. And so masculine is a bad term. It's like the runner, it's the one who runs away. It's because they're just not healed and they're afraid to get burned and they're afraid to get hurt. So so when I say divine masculine or your masculine, that means that it's the counterpart who's been running away from the love. And then what happens is the divine feminines go through a whole other level of healing when they're in the separation period, when they've met their incredible person, and then the person gets scared that they can't live up to the standards of that person, or that they don't deserve that person, and they run. Then, hang on, I have to take a drink of water. They then go through kind of an abandonment. They feel like, how could you have left me? You're my person. We figured it out. A lot of times, even the masculine will tell them, you're the person I want to marry. I want to have kids with you. Like, you are it for me. They know it. And yet they run. So the feminines are completely perplexed. Like, I don't get it. I don't understand. I finally meet a really good guy. And he's like my soulmate. I can feel it. Like, we're kindred spirits is the feel. It's like it's somebody who's just like and it's just warm and fuzzy, like holding a puppy or a kitten. It's like, oh, can't get enough of it. And then so it's really disappointing for the feminines when the masculines run like that. And the masculines go through this whole thing of, oh, I'm not worthy. I'm just going to let her down once she gets to know me. She doesn't really like me. She's just saying she likes me. She could get any guy, she's just being nice. They dismiss it. And they try to act like, oh, well, and they'll even, their ego will make them push the feminines away and say, I only want to be friends and all that stuff. And some of you may call these people unemotionally available, not emotionally available. So, but the thing is that these two are drawn together because I don't necessarily believe in the two souls coming together as one soul. I think that's a very sweet romantic idea, but I feel more like it's an opportunity that a masculine gets with a feminine that is genuine and authentic. And if they don't take that opportunity at that moment, then they go into the separation and they learn a bunch of lessons to try to build their self-worth. Now, this is an incredible process. While you guys are throwing these guys out saying they're unemotionally available or emotionally unavailable, while you guys are like poo-pooing these guys and throwing them back in the water, the feminines actually see what they're capable of. They know what they're capable. They see their heart. They see through to their heart, because the feminines have been there before. The feminines have been guarded. The feminines have been defensive. They've been jealous. They've been all of that stuff before. They may even still have those traits now to some degree. But they've, the more they mature, the more they master these things. But anyway, so they see what he's trying to disguise and what he's trying to cover up and whatnot. So the whole true love relationship is this incredible thing where both of you ignite each other in a way that really activates something inside of each other, and you fall in love with each other, and that love for each other starts to grow you. You start to compare that person to other people and find them lacking. You'd say, oh man, I could, that trait, that's just, incredible. And then the masculines will go date a karmic, and a karmic is somebody who will treat them really bad and be what they actually expect women to be or men to be, like, yep, that's what I figured. They just go cheat on me. They just go lie to me. They just go this. So it like goes and proves their point of like, nobody's a good person pretty much. And they get treated really bad, and they go after the wrong person so that they can eventually get sick of it. They can eventually just go through one after the other and just be like, nothing ever compares to my feminine. They just have to keep coming back to that point of being like, I'm not going to find this again, or not in that package, or not in that way, and not with that it just, this person stands out to the masculines like unbelievably. But this love grows them into what they're capable of. It helps them mature and grow. It gets the little, it's the carrot on the end of the stick, basically. But sometimes along the journey, and the masculine ultimately has to choose love over his fear. Always. It could be a distance thing. It could be a nationality thing. It could be a religious thing. No matter what the difference is, there's always going to be some kind of vast differences between the masculines and the feminines, because it's designed that way, because it challenges the masculines and the feminines to keep choosing love over fear. So, but there are times when the masculine closes the door, and I mean a hard close. Like, he doesn't just go into hiding for a little bit to kind of incubate and mature. He like flat out goes into another relationship, or gets married, or he'll go, I don't know, be a screwball somewhere, do something really stupid, or like just make really bad decisions, or push you away completely and say, I don't even like you like that. What are you thinking? Even though like before he'd even said that he wanted to marry you. They'll totally go back on that and act like, well, what are you talking about? No, there was never that between us, or whatever. But if it's a hard close like that, what I believe and what I've felt and what I've seen is that the feminines have developed, using the law of attraction and doing their healing work. They now have like more masculines that will come through. Those are called, like, the initial one could be a twin flame, and then the next one would be like a soul flame or something like that. That's what it seems to be to me. And so basically he passes the torch. He says, no, I don't want my inheritance. I don't want my millions of dollars in my feminine, the equivalent to millions of dollars, no, thank you. And they go in the lawyer's office and they sign the paperwork and says, I pass on my inheritance, basically. So then another guy can come in who's naturally drawn to loving you as well. And that next masculine can come in and take the torch and run with it and give his go at it. I'm going to try to have enough self-esteem. I'm going to try to believe that I deserve this kind of love, this more mature type of thing. And and a lot of times you guys aren't even the type that they're usually attracted to, and all kinds of things. So then the next masculine might have a run at it, and he kind of falls on his face or whatever. So the feminines, watch this again and again. Sometimes some of you just get stuck on one person. But others of you like myself, have gone through one after the other, after the other, after the other. And it's like, okay, I guess there are no men who believe in themselves. So, but it does seem that way. And then but feminines, your jackpot is coming. Your jackpot is coming, no matter how this goes. Just keep growing and maturing yourself more all the time. But to answer this person's question, who was on my premiere, this past premiere, he said, I don't even know what it looks like. I don't even know any divine masculines. And it's funny because they're not really, they're the immature version of the divine masculine when you guys meet, and then they become the mature version. Now, the ones that actually come into union, I should actually explore that for a minute. Because there are the masculines, and now all of those masculines, like say there were 5 of them, feminines, say you've known 5 of these guys that you felt like really were a good soul match for you. Like you could just tell that, if you guys were on the same page, you guys would get along incredibly, and there would be fireworks, and it would just be this incredible match. Nobody could compare to you, just the 5 of them or whatever. But basically, there are cases when the masculine does believe in himself enough and want to break the mold, and actually comes to his feminine, and he's grown and matured all that time into this incredible man or woman who is now ready to face the relationship and ready to give it a shot and give it a go. And by then, they're usually mature enough to hold the line, kind of like be in it, and it's going to be uncomfortable because it's a really intense kind of love, but still hold on, and without running away. And I'm about to read some stuff that'll explain better what I'm trying to say. So, but then, and then all of a sudden, these masculines who've been hemming and hawing for years, pulling back, coming forward, I don't know, playing games with your head, all that stuff has been going on all this time, which some of you throw them away saying they're a bad guy, and they're not at all. Now, I'm not talking about a psychopath or like a narcissist who's like totally all about themselves and don't give a crap. And people who are void of a conscience at all and have no compassion, those guys definitely throw them back. Those are your false twin flames. I'm not talking about assholes. I'm not talking about abusers. I'm not talking about anything like that. I'm talking about people with good hearts that are hiding behind people pleasing and stuff like that. Okay. Anyway, so these guys do show up. I've seen them show up for their feminines in a remarkable way, and even so strong and so mature that they put their feminine to shame. They make their feminine be like, oh my gosh, like I would never be able to, oh my gosh, like how are they telling me what to do? This is amazing, So while the feminines were sitting there supposedly waiting, twiddling their thumbs, their masculine comes all bold and brave and amazing. And they're just like, now I don't feel worthy. It's like they can switch roles. And a lot of times when they come into union, it is true, the feminines do go into like kind of a masculine role of the kind of feeling like uncomfortable and wanting to run away. And then the masculines are like, what? I'm ready. So, I mean, if we didn't have this whole thing, like what makes somebody want to grow better than love? You know what I mean? When you fall in love with somebody and you want to be in that caliber of a relationship, I don't know, there's just something about love that just pulls you forward. Both of you go through it. Both of the feminines and the masculines go through this massive, amazing maturing process. And sometimes because of those vast differences, it evolves both of you in these really incredible ways of like getting down to the nuts and bolts of what you really, really want in a relationship. And you really start to go, maybe I could be a mom, maybe I could be in another culture and it would be okay. Maybe I could open my mind about my religion. Maybe I could. I mean, it evolves everybody. It involves everybody, not only the masculine and the feminine, but their families. And I mean, it has a ripple effect of transformation. So it's a really, really powerful thing. So having said that, the question to this person who was in the chat in the premiere, of not like, I don't even know what a masculine looks like and had never seen one necessarily around him. I just want to quote some things from Jake Woodard on Instagram. I've screenshotted some of the things he's listed because I'm like, that's really cool. I like how he puts that. So I'm just going to read some of these things if you guys don't mind. He says the awakened masculine versus the wounded masculine. Now, the wounded masculines are the ones that's the stage where they fall in love with the feminine and they allow themselves for a moment to be themselves, but then they cover it back up again. It's like, oh, no. They deny it for a minute. But anyway, the wounded masculine is forceful and he's controlling. He's distanced and scattered. He's numb to his heart and to his emotions. He's inconsistent and flighty. He's ego-driven, and he represses the feminine. Like, no, you just, no. So the awakened masculine, he leads with integrity. He is present and he's grounded. He's integrated with his heart and his emotions. He's consistent. He's purpose-driven and supportive of the feminine. So that's the difference between the wounded masculine, the one that you meet before separation, and then the way they show up when they're ready, the awakened masculine. Now, here are some other things. How can I tell if he's into me? The conscious masculine will show that he likes you with his integrity, consistency, and action. He will be focused on his mission, but he will make time to see you. The unconscious masculine will play mind games and hope you chase around like a little boy. You will get very frustrated with this type of man because you won't know where you stand in his life because he still doesn't know where he stands in his own life. The world needs more strong men. I couldn't agree more. Not more men who act like macho jerks who overinflated egos, and not more men who are pushovers because they fear being rejected or judged. The world needs more men who stand for something, men who are willing to protect their loved ones, men who lead with integrity, men who take responsibility and show up consistently, men who self-reflect instead of blaming others for their problems, men who have love in their hearts and hold the lantern of truth high for others to see their own light. So they're basically an example. They're an inspiration to others because they're willing to break the mold and go do something uncomfortable and do something right. So men, stop going cold to her. When a man has a disagreement with a woman and closes down to her, that's a masculine trauma response. His nervous system hasn't been trained to handle his emotions, so he goes numb. The key, so the masculines that's coming for you after separation, the key is for him to remain open, present, and grounded with her. If he needs space, he needs to speak clearly and say, right now, I need to process how I'm feeling. I would like some space. So they just communicate what their need is. They don't run, they don't get numb, they don't get all defensive, they don't, But having said all of that, we are all works in progress. We are all trying to ultimately get to this, what he's describing. Your feminines are not expecting you to show up and be this perfect knight in shining armor person that's going to be, they're not going to be perfect either. They're going to get defensive. They're going to get jealous. They're going to jump to conclusions sometimes too. Nobody's perfect. And some people may be stronger in one area and weak in another, and everybody complements each other. But in a true love relationship, you guys get each other on a deeper level than you do with other people. There was another really good quote the other day. It had something to do with it's not that they're like you necessarily, but there's a certain level of, I get you though. I understand. Like it helps you to trust each other. It helps your defenses are more, one thing I hear commonly when you guys meet is that, oh, I can't believe I said all that. Like everything just starts pouring out really naturally because there's like an automatic trust there. So it's like you feel like you can say anything, be just totally natural with this person, right? So karmics, they're all over the place. You're going to run into karmics everywhere, and they're the ones who play games with your head, and they will treat you really bad, and they will manipulate you. And if you want to get fined, when you want to get dined and treated really great for a few dates, and have some guy act crazy about you and do all this stuff, you're probably going to find yourself karmic. You're probably going to find yourself a guy who knows exactly what to do to charm you and and start something with you that's disingenuous. And then they could become abusive and things like that. So I more trust in the process of this whole back and forth separation thing, because I just feel like it's so beautiful how God oversees this couple. And even despite all odds, and even despite all differences and all everything, they fought for love. They fought to be together. They would see the obstacles and the blockages, and they would go through a growth spurt to come closer. They would climb the boulder or go around it or swim through it or whatever they had to do. That's how strong this love is and how beautiful it is. But it doesn't always, you guys aren't always able to come together. There are masculines who fail the test basically, and they get tempted by a karmic, and they think they have something called love when the karmic is just usually faking them out, just using them. And they're really very manipulative people who will, I don't know, that some of them even will mimic the feminines and try to act like they're into spirituality and act like they're into this and that. All it is they've memorized some quotes. But when you really look at their life and the way that they're living, it's like, nah, I don't think you're living it. I don't think so. So that's where the whole saying about, watch that, actions speak louder than words. It's true, because karmics can fake you out. And one thing to test somebody too, if they're a karmic, is if you do something they don't like, how do they react? Do they still love you? If you have a different ambition or something like that, do they support you in it and say, I don't care what we got to go through, we're going to make that happen for you. If that's really what you truly want, let's do it. That would be your true love. A karmic could be like, I can't believe that you're so selfish that you would just only think about yourself right now. We have to have money in this house. I have to have like my really nice hair, and I have to have like my perfect nails, and I have to have like, it's like just all about their appearance. They're all about money, and they're all about, they're incredibly superficial. And of course, if that's what you're used to, if that's all you know, then, that's unfortunate. But as you mature, as everybody on the planet matures, every human being goes through a maturing process. And as they mature, they don't give a shit about that stuff anymore. They don't care. They want their peace of mind. They want to feel good when they come home at night to their person. They want to feel loved and nurtured. They want to feel supported. They want to feel all the basic stuff. They want to be able to go out for a walk and hold your hand and not have you looking at your phone all the time. They want to be able to just spend time with you, and not, who cares where it is. It doesn't even matter where it is. As long as you guys are together, they don't care. And they want, true love wants to just be together, just holding each other. That's it. It's like, it's so simple, but there's so much rich fulfillment in that. I don't care how many millions of dollars you have. If you've got a cold-hearted partner, and if you have somebody who just doesn't get you, or that isn't, that you guys aren't equally kind, loving people, then what are you doing there? It's a complete waste of time. So especially if you know who your true love is, get the heck out of that dysfunctional relationship. Get yourself over to some, when you're with somebody and you're watching romantic comedies and you're just like, I wish you would be like that. You're with somebody that you probably shouldn't be with if you're saying that. It's like if you're like slapping him, I wish you would be more like that. Because a true love would want to be like that. And you wouldn't have to like, I mean, I guess you can take courses and things like that with a true love, but but they'd be willing. They'd be like, yeah, let's go learn Tantra together. Sure. Not that they're always going to agree with everything that you want, but there's more of a spirit of, yeah, I want this to work just as much as you do. Whatever we got to do, let's make it happen. They want to put the work in because they love you just as much as you love them. So it's more of an equal thing, and it's deeper. And so nobody has to worry about being perfect. The feminines, if you've been jealous before and you're like all nervous because you're just like, oh, I'm gonna ruin it when I start acting jealous and blah blah blah, it's okay. And masculine, same thing. Everybody's got their stuff that they're still working on. You're not going to be perfect, but I always say this, but you have to just be willing to apologize. That's the most basic thing that you can do to help get over your ego and have the maturity to be able to withstand a good true love type relationship. I'm sorry. I'm sorry I said that. I'm sorry I did that. I realized I was kind of being reactive, or I realized I was drinking, or I realized that I was, being silly or whatever. I've reflected on it, and, we could talk about it or whatever, but, you keep coming back and dropping into your heart with this person. It doesn't become this whole tit for tat competition and getting back at each other, and it doesn't get all mean and nasty anymore. There's more of a willingness to make it work, whatever it takes, because you guys went through hell to get to each other. So now I'm not even addressing soulmates. Yeah, I mean, soulmates are the ones that you meet, and it's just really easy. It's just super easy, and it's just like your best friend. And those are beautiful too. They're just not. They just don't have the same passion because you guys didn't have to work so hard to get to each other, but they're awesome. And for those of you who've just been beaten and battered by one relationship after the other, like bad relationship, then and then you get stuck with a twin flame and he's doing the same kind of stuff as the bad relationship was doing and all that. Those I always tell you guys, and the spirit usually tells me to let you know, you got a soulmate coming in. We don't want you to suffer. Okay. I mean, it takes a lot of gumption to stick with a true love relationship. You have to just be one of those people who are like, I am going to grow. No matter what you put me through, I'm going to grow, and I'm going to heal, and I'm going to take it to paper, and I'm going to do my assignments, and I'm going to meditate, and it's like, they are the troopers. They are the warriors of this world. Truly, the true love couples, they're badasses. By the time they come together, and by the time they really get to working together with each other, like get to be this creative genius power couple team. And they're like unstoppable. They're like unstoppable once they get to that level, and they can be on the same page and be a unified force. It's like, how do you get in the way of that? You can't. There's no way. But you got to have both of you being willing to go through some really uncomfortable stuff to make that happen. And, that time of separation and longing for each other, it just really refines you. It really makes you not really give a crap about the people pleasing anymore. It really makes you just like, without this kind of love pulling you to do this, would you ever really have evolved? Would you ever be questioning? You would just be in that culture around those people, the same old damn thing all the time, and the same old game playing, and the same old cheating, and the same old ups and downs and drama, all that other crap. And we all have to listen to what that one says, and then we gotta go over here, and it's like, it's so yucky, and it's so boring. Even though it's a bunch of drama and it might seem kind of interesting, it gets really old. And I think as you mature, you kind of see all the games and all that kind of stuff as being just really stupid. You kind of like, as you grow, you're just like, and I'm not even talking about it's not an age thing. Some people mature really early, but you just, you, uh, it's just, that it's stupid and it's just leading to pain. It's like, why would you go down that road? That's just going to hurt. Why would I put myself through more pain? So you just kind of get smarter. I don't know. You just kind of just, you see it real quick. You see temptation real quick. You see somebody, and you're just like, you know, you see it coming like a mile away. You're just like, see ya. I don't think so. So I don't know. I guess it's just, don't expect yourself to be perfect, neither of you. And just, I would say the number one thing is to be honest, be to the point where you can be honest with people, where you can just say it like it is and just blurt stuff out if you need to. If you're there and if you're willing to apologize, if you can say something really shitty and then come back and be like, I'm so sorry I said that shitty thing, then you're probably ready. Those two things. Can you be honest and just tell the truth, even if it's uncomfortable? And, or can I apologize if I say something that hurts? It's really that simple. But, it can take years to get to that level with somebody that intimidates you like true love does. So I hope that helps give some clarity to things. If you guys want to follow Jake Woodard, he's got some pretty cool little ways of putting things that are kind of neat. So yeah, okay. And check out my playlist all about true love for more on this. I've got a video, all about true love, the different types of true love, which kind of repeats what I said today. But okay, this is one of my favorite moments. I sat across from someone and he knew who he really wanted to be with. And yet he was going to let himself be in a relationship with this other person because he wanted to practice getting good at sex. So, because he felt like his last relationship kind of made him feel bad about how he was sexually. So he was like, well, he was real honest with me. And he's just like, well, I'm going to go out with this one. And even though I know it's just a temporary situation, I'm going to go out with her because I want to get good in bed. And I'm like, you're going to get yourself stuck there. No, I'm not. No, because I know I've made it clear to her that I'm not ready for a relationship, blah, blah, blah. But karmics, they are masters at hooking that masculine, man. They see the potential there too, but they want to take advantage of it and exploit it and do like they want to make it do a song and dance for them if they can. They see what they can use him for. They see whatever it is, the money or lots of attention or whatever it is. And they will go in and manipulate that situation and hook that masculine, even use black magic, all kinds of stuff. They're crazy. Karmics are crazy. And now karmics could also be like the immature version of the divine feminine because the divine feminines can grow out of some of that immaturity. But anyway, karmics, man, they're so anyway, so I said to him, I said, why are you going to waste your time? Why are you wasting your time doing? You could grow to be an incredible lover with your true love. Like that's ridiculous. With your true love, you can actually be honest with that person and you can actually explore each other's bodies and try new things and do all kinds of awesome things. Like what do you have to go to some karmic for, especially knowing full well going into it, it's temporary. Like he already knew. So I was like, why are you wasting your time? You're wasting your time. You're wasting the time of your true love. I mean, the whole thing's ridiculous. I was like, well, why don't you just ask your person out? And he just like, oh my God, like, no way. Well, I'm not ready for that. I mean, it's that frightening for them when they're not ready. He just like about fell off on the floor. And so I was like, whoa. Another great reaction I've gotten from a masculine was, I've gotten really good at figuring them out. you know, they'll talk about their career a lot. They'll talk about, all this stuff, and they'll beat around the bush and beat around the bush. And then I'll be like, is there somebody that you think about that you're madly in love with, but you just haven't got the guts to ask them out or whatever? Well, yeah. Well, I mean, there's somebody, but they live over in blah, blah, blah. And all the excuses that they make. And I was just like, oh, here we go. They got stuck on the differences and didn't make the effort to overcome those differences. And so I was like, yeah, this is a masculine. And I said, why don't you reach out to that person? Oh, well, I've got this other person over here, and I've got a life going with this person, and I got da 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 da. And I was just like, that person still probably thinks about you too, and really wishes that you guys could be together. And this was a female masculine, and she just goes, do you think? I was like, well, of course. That's how true love is. And she was just like, no way. And I was like, yeah. And then she's like, do you really think that I could be with him? I was like, yeah, I do. And she starts getting all like wiping the tears. Do you really think he'd forgive me? Do you really think that we could be together? And I was just like, I was so touched by that. I was like, oh my gosh. Like, obviously, that's the person that masculine should be with, not the person that they were settling for, being like, yeah, well, I got this person that I'm in a life with. You know, you don't want to be with somebody that you have to kind of like excuse it because, oh, we have kids. Oh, we got married. Oh, I got her pregnant. Oh, you don't want to be in a relationship like that. You want to be with the person who makes you cry like that. That when somebody gives you the faith that, yeah, you can make it work, you can be with that person you really want to be with, and they cry, that's the person you want to be with. That's the person who's going to inspire the hell out of your life. That's the person you get to come home to every day, that you're going to feel like the luckiest person on the planet. You're going to be going to work every day happy and skipping and throwing love all around, all over the place. Your family's going to be inspired by it. Your kids are going to get inspired by it. That's the kind of love that moves mountains, that changes our world. Go for that person, you guys. Nobody's got to settle for anybody who doesn't give them those kind of feelings. You know what I mean? This person should make you want to cry if you get to be with them. It should be that amazing. You should feel that lucky. So anyway, leaving you on that note, have yourselves a beautiful day, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.